Hello, today is June 10th, 2017, and this is Donald L. Potter. I'm going to be your presenter. We're going to be doing this is a training video on how to use Reading Made Easy with Blend Phonics for first grade. We're going to go very fast. Let me simply say that I published this free on my website in 2003. I first heard about it in about 1999 from a comment by Robert Sweet concerning the program. It got me interested in it, and later I put it into the form of a book and added some fluency drills of my own, and I've used the program without stopping since 2007 in my own tutoring, and I have taught students as young as kindergarten all the way through 43 years old to learn to read with this program. So I believe that it's one, if not the best, and definitely the easiest phonics program to teach. And if every first grade teacher in America were to begin using this in their classroom next year, we would see a tremendous improvement in reading instruction in America. So let me get rid of the picture. You've seen what the title looks like. You can order my book from Amazon. By the way, my website is www.donpotter.net, and I believe that is on the page right here, the copyright page, donpotter.net, and my website for my nationwide education, Blend Phonics education campaign is www.blendphonics.org. The book is dedicated to Hazel. We're going to go very fast so that we can show you how to teach this whole program. Acknowledgements, those are people who have been very influential in my life as a teacher, and I wanted to acknowledge their help. I might notice that Miss Loring's children gave me permission to, I say children, they're now in their 80s, but they gave me permission to publish her book. And Pat Lint, her daughter, has used her program since I think about 1970, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a program of proven effectiveness. Let's launch right in. Here is the contents. On this training video, we're going to be looking at scope and sequence very quickly, and then we're only going to be looking at the first part. Part 1, Reading Made Easy with Blend Phonics, Why Teach Blend Phonics, Lesson Plans, Phonics Word List, Consonants and Vowel Summary, and a little bit about Hazel Loring. And we will save the Blend Phonics drill for a later time. I might mention that Blend Phonics is a multi-sensory, phonics, structured, cumulative, sequential approach to teaching beginning and remedial reading, and it includes all 5 elements of the April 2000 report of the National Reading Panel: phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. Okay, here we go. Now we have the scope and sequence. Notice that there are 6 steps to the program. This is showing the sequence. We start with the simple, then we build towards the more complex, and as we go, it's step by step. Everything will be cumulative. In other words, we are building, and most students who finish this program will be reading on grade level. That is, if a first grader finishes it, they should be at least on a first or second grade level, and quite often higher. If they're a 6th grader, when they finish it, they should at least be on a 6th grade level when they finish it, and so on. All right, now Miss Loring, starting on page 1, talks about why teach Blend Phonics. I'm going to let you read that. Basically, the advantage of Blend Phonics is, for one thing, it was designed to be taught to a whole class, which you can teach it to a whole class or to individuals. But a lot of programs, it appears to me, are way more effective when you're just teaching one student. But here you can have a class of 15, 20, even 30 students and take them right straight through this program. And what's one of the secrets of the program, what she calls directional guidance. We're going to explain that as we go on, but we're just going to let you read her section. Beginning on page 5, we have the lesson plans. And again, we're going to, she mentions to be sure and teach the letter names. I really prefer that the students know the letters and letter names and are able to write them before beginning Blend Phonics. But if they don't, you can actually jump right into the program. The first unit will teach all of the consonants and the short A. So just the time they finish the first unit, they will have a lot of knowledge of the alphabet. And in the next 4 units will introduce the rest of the vowels. So by the time they finish, that would be unit 4, they will know the whole alphabet. All right. Pressing on, I want to jump. She shows how to do a schedule, which you can read that. And I'm just going to look at the first one. Here it's exactly what she says, and this is exactly the way I teach it. You tell the student the name of the letter is B, and you write it on the board. And then you teach them the sound is B. And you can use the phonovisual charts to do that, so you'll use a picture of a bear, and the sound of the bear is B. And I have 2 training videos already on this YouTube channel, which is given in-depth training on the use of the phonovisual charts, and you will want to look at those. Then we introduce the letter A, and under the B we write A, and we teach them the letter name, and then we tell them that this is the A sound. A. Then we write the A out beside the B to the right, and we teach them that this is the ba sound. Ba. Notice we do not teach spelling families, bat, hat, sat, cat, mat, like that. But rather we are interested in teaching directional guidance. Spelling families come in handy later when you're teaching spelling patterns, but for starting out, this is the way you want to start, so that you're sure that you have directional guidance, and this will nip dyslexia in the bud if you teach it this way first. Then you teach the letter T is T. T. Notice you don't say T, it's just T. And again, if you study my look at my phonovisual training, I go into all that very carefully. So now they have ba, and then when they add the T, they have the word bat. And once they've sounded it out, then you always have them make up a sentence. If they don't know the word, you make up a sentence for them. So by the time they have finished this program, there's over 1,900 words actually in the program. You do not have to teach all the words, and she doesn't even recommend necessarily teaching all the words. I generally do. But you only have to teach enough of the words so that they master the principles in the unit that you're teaching. And so you're actually tying the letters, names, sounds, and the meaning together. Now, one thing Miss Loring did not mention, but which I do, I have taught the program with and without handwriting. I generally have the students buy a simple spiral, $2 spiral at one of the stores is all they need, actually, to write all the words in the program. And as I write the word on the board, or with the overhead, or the document camera that we use a lot nowadays, I teach them how to form the letter so that they actually write the word. And when they finish the program, they'll have written all the words that you teach them. Now, you can read the rest of these pages, because she's going to go ahead and show how to do this with several other words. Pressing on. Now we have the word list, and the first word list is a short sound of A, and all of the consonants, every consonant, and we included the Q so U is actually introduced early here, although it's a silent Q, and CK is also introduced, although it's not a single letter, so that they'll have the K, because you don't have a K with well, I guess yak, you have a K with a short sound, but not too often. Usually the single K is used with the long vowel. So you write those on the board. So you're going to write, and you're going to write b, a, then you write the t, and they have bat. And the words are bat, bag, bad, can, cap, cab, cat, dad, fan, fat, gas, hat, ham, had, jam, lap, lad, map, man, mat, nap, pan, pad, quack, rat, ran, rag, rap, sap, sad, sam, tan, tap, tag, van, wag, yak, tax, wax, am, an, at, an, lass, mass, pass, and zag. Okay. Number 2, we have the short sound of the I, and that's I, and I'm just going to sound out the first couple words here. They're going to say the b, I, and they come up with the blend b. Then they add the b, and we now have bib. And then they use it in a sentence, which is the baby had a bib. Then the next word is b, I, bi, and then we do the g, g, big. All right. And write those on the board, have the students sound them out. They can do it as a class activity. When they write them in their journals or their spirals, they'll have them to take home to practice with their parents. And so they'll actually be reading their own beautiful handwriting. For handwriting, may I recommend a program on my website that's entitled Shortcut to Manuscript. I'm assuming you'll be teaching manuscript. I often, in fact, generally teach this with cursive, but when I'm working with, because my school requires cursive from kindergarten up, but since most of my tutoring students from the public and other private schools, I teach at a private school, they are required to do manuscript. So I teach them manuscript. I can teach either one, and I have a shortcut to cursive on my website and a shortcut to manuscript. And shortcut to manuscript, you'll have the students writing beautiful, beautiful letters. And if you've never been trained in how to teach handwriting, I have a whole deal on that. And I plan to do a video on it, but I broke my wrist mountain biking recently, and so I can't use my right hand. So I got to get my right hand working before I can start doing any handwriting videos. All right, let's move on here. Unit 3, we have the short sound of O, and that's ah, as in the word top. And I'll be giving you the phonovisual vowel key words here, top, ah. And the first one is b, ah, ba, and then you add the b, you have bob, bob. As in we bob for apples. You can also teach the capital there and teach it a name. Unit 4, we have the short sound of the U, and we use the word duck, the middle sound in the word duck, and we have the first word is but, so you're going to teach but, and then you teach the T, and you have but, and you teach all the other words the same way. Unit 5 is the short sound of E. That's going to be as in bed. As in bed. By the way, interestingly, students coming to me generally know their consonant sounds. It's usually the vowel sounds that they don't know. So this is, I make sure they know all the consonant sounds, and I generally give them, I buy big dozens and dozens of those phonovisual charts from the company. They come in 8.5 by 11, nice 8.5 by 11 color, and I also use flashcards. But anyway, and I give the kids the charts to take home. And we have a book of stories that goes with this. This Blend Phonics lesson and stories. Won't be touching on it here, but for each of these units, and sometimes combinations of units, we have, we have stories like for sometimes for one unit, and then sometimes we'll have one for that unit and another unit. But anyway, we have 62 stories that are decodable stories that is available in a very inexpensive book. In fact, $10. And this book here that you have that I'm illustrating is only $8. Where else can you find the best phonics program on the planet Earth and the easiest to teach for $8? All right, number 6, we have final consonant blends, and they're listed there. The CK, K, the FT, FT, the LK, ULK, the LP, ULP, the LT, ULT, the MP, MP, the ND, nd, the NT, nt, the SK, sk, the ST, st, the TS, ts, and the XT, xt. A little tricky there. And what you do here is I write on the word BAN, and they say band, and I add a D, and we have band. So you just teach it just with Blend Phonics, just like the other one, and make sure that they can know all these. Notice how that everything as we go through gets a little bit more difficult. It's one thing to sound out 3-letter words. Well, now we're sounding out 4-letter words. Then we have the consonant digraphs. And a digraph, if you're new to phonics, is 2 letters that make one sound. There's vowel digraphs and consonant digraphs. And the first one is the SH. Oh, I forgot to tell you the CK, the phonovisual word uses the word key for the CK, key. They're interested in teaching the sound, and so they use the word key as the key for the sound, no matter how it's spelled, whether with a C or with a K or a CK. All right, let's get on the move here. We got a lot to cover, and I can see we're already 16 minutes. I want to keep this under half an hour for sure. So we have Unit 7, the consonant digraph, sh as in ship, sh. So we have k, a, sh. And again, you write the C, you write the A, and they have cat. Then you add the SH, and they have cash. And once they get fast at blending, you can write these words on the board blazing fast. And I have had quite a few classes where that I can write sometimes as many as 30, 40, 50. There's even been times I've written as many as 100 words in a mere half an hour. So this program grows very fast. In fact, Miss Lori said it could be taught in about 4 months or 1 semester. So it can easily be covered in 1 semester. So once you covered it in first semester, you spend the next semester reading. Okay. Unit 8, here we have the 2 sounds of the TH, the voiced and the unvoiced. And on the phonovisual chart, you're going to have the voiced, so one we got first here, is going to be the word this. And you tell the kids to stick out their tongue. Or put their tongue between their teeth. And I often have a mirror. A little mirror for the kids to use to look at when they're making these sounds, and they can look at my mouth, they can look at their mouth, and it helps them. And by the way, kids that come to me with speech difficulties often really improve their speech, and the speech teachers really appreciate that. So you have the word than. We'll just show the first one. So you're going to do the th, the a, and you got that, then you add the n, and you have than. Again, directional guidance. Then the TH at the bottom of the page there is as in the word thick. Pretty hard to hear probably on this recording. You just stick your tongue out and let the air go around it. It's not th, it's just th, th. And the first one is thick, so you're going to say th, and then you add the K, k, thick. Pressing on, more consonant digraphs. The CH and the TH makes the ch sound, as in cherry. And the first word's going to be ch, a, cha, and then we add the T, we have chat, and so on. It also has the sometimes the CH has the sound of the K, as in mechanic, and a few times the sound of SH, as in parachute. We don't have that here. Again, this is a beginning program. Okay, Unit 10, we have the WH, which is, we use the word wheel, and we notice that when an A follows a W or a WH, it has a short O sound. So for example, the word want, the A is going to be want, not want. The kids are going on to say want. So you just have to tell them it's ah. So you have wa, n, one, t, want, and they can sound it out. Same thing with the word was. And I know was kind of has the U sound, but if you teach the kids the O, they'll get it. Anyway, pressing, and you'll be surprised. And notice learning this away, you won't have kids saying saw for was when they learn Blend Phonics, because they've been taught directional guidance. I'm going to say it's going to help some of them avoid a world of hurt, let me tell you. Unit 11, we have the ng, as in the word swing. So we have ba, we had ng, we have so we have bang. And then the nk is also included here. It's kind of similar, ank. So they have ba-ank. 13, we have the initial consonant blends. This is all of them except the R blends, and they come in the next lesson. So we have bull, cull, full, gull, pull, sk, spelled SC and SK, then sm and sul and sn and sp and st and sw. Now there's no new sounds here, so you don't use anything new off the phonovisual chart. And these are actually pretty easy. Some phonics programs actually skip them, but we're not teaching the kids to memorize the beginning blend. We're actually having them do the actual sounds. So they're going to go b, and then the So you have blah, then you add sh, sh, and you have blush and black and block and so on. And the kids do pretty well with these. Again, notice how we're moving things up a step. We did the ending consonant blends and digraphs. Now we have initial consonant blends, and they're actually, with each lesson, you're actually reviewing much of what's going on before. So just massive amount of review since you're using letters and so on that you've had before. Then we have the initial consonant blends, and here we have the bur, cur, dur, fur, gur, per, ter. If you're using an earlier version of this, Miss Loring called this an enrichment lesson and taught it after the long vowels. I felt that it fit better here, and so I moved it up for this edition of our book. Then we have really fun stuff, 2-syllable words. The kids love doing these. And by this time in the program, you can generally write the whole word on the board and then have the kids sound it out, and I'll often draw a line between the two words, or I may write the words separate and then put them together. And they love doing these, and be sure and use them in sentences. Now we have the long lesson. This is unit 16. And here they're going to learn that the final silent E makes the vowel say its long sound or its name. And if I could, I have had so many kids, first, second, third, fourth, fifth graders come to me, and when I write the word 8, they say at. If they're taught Blend Phonics, let me guarantee you, they're not going to be reading at for 8, especially in the third, fourth, fifth grade. That's a disgrace. And it happens all over this country and with kids from all over not just the public schools, but the public schools and private and charter schools in my district. And there is no reason for that. And that's why I just hope and pray that every first grade teacher in America, I know it sounds a little bit outlandish maybe, but that's my prayer, that because you can go ahead and teach your program. You don't have to quit teaching your program. Just find 15 or 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day to teach Blend Phonics. And you're not going to have any students in your class that can't read, or any that are going to need remediation later on. And so the first word is 8. So you write on the board AT, and they're going to say at. Then you put the E on the end, and you say, now the letter's going to say its name, and they're going to say 8. And you proceed on. Back, you write B-A-K, they're going to say back. And then you write the E, and they're going to say, oh, it's going to be bake. And once they get the hang of it, then you just write the word and have them read it. And go right straight down on all these. And I know it's a lot of words on this page, but I'll tell you what. If they have a journal, and by this time they really got good at writing their letters, you can write these words on the board like lightning fast, 30, 40, 50 words in 20 minutes to a half hour. And those kids will write them in their journal, and they will be able to read these, and they'll be able to write them, and they'll be able to spell them for the rest of their life. So notice how, now I also have them spell the words orally. So once we've written, I should have mentioned that in the very first lesson, once we've written the word, or once they've sounded out the word, then I'll say, okay, spell it, and I'll maybe cover it up with my hand or something, and they'll say A-T-E. So this is why I teach spelling right up front. because, I mean, not spelling, but letter names right up front, because I want them to be spelling orally. And I do not believe this confuses a student, and I know a lot of phonics teachers do. And there'll be another workshop later explaining the different kinds of phonics. There's whole to part phonics, part to whole phonics, there's word family phonics, there's blend phonics. There's actually a number of different kinds of phonics. I believe this is the best, and this is the best way, the optimal way to teach it. Okay, pressing on. By the way, this is the next unit, and I forgot to mention that. This is step 3, units 16, 17, and 18 form, and there's a chart in the back of the book, so you'll know. I wrote the book just like Loring wrote it. Few modifications, but it's basically her program. But in the back you can see where these steps go. She didn't label them as steps, but I felt like it's clearer for me to see when we're going from one step to another. So here we have, these are phonograms using long vowels. So we have old, ost, oath, ild, and eind. And so they're gonna write these out bold, old, and this is a little bit different because you're teaching the whole phonogram. So they're writing the B, and then they're not writing just the O by itself, but they're writing the B, and then they're writing the OLD. So you teach them that OLD says old, so it's B, old, bold. Same thing, the colt will be K, and then they learn OLT says old. So you teach that as a unit. You might call those spelling families, but at this point in the program, it's appropriate to do. Now, 18 is pretty short, just short words with ending a long vowel. Actually, they're at the end of a syllable. I think the reason why they're short. Now, units 19, 20, and 21 are what we call R-controlled vowels. And the AR on the phonovisual method, we're going to have AR is going to be car, R, car. So they're going to learn AR says R, so they write the B, then they write the R. And in barn, they write the BAR, bar, then they write the N on the end. Then you have car and chart and so on. OR, the key word is fork. And so on the phonovisual chart, so they're going to say or. Then they write B, or, bore. Then you write the N. You have born, again, using directional guidance. And in unit 21 is the and on the phonovisual chart, this is the fur, and like an animal fur. And the ER, IR, UR, and sometimes OR make the sounds. So like CL, you write, the first one's clerk, so they blend the C and the L, k, clerk, and you go down through these. Now we're going to the next step, and this is vowel digraphs and diphthongs. By the way, a digraph is two vowels that make one sound, and a diphthong is two sounds together that actually make two sounds. Now that's the difference there, and we'll be seeing that. Miss Loring was careful to teach this. But these are digraphs A, and notice there's two spellings, A-I and A-Y, and the reason is English words cannot end in a dotted letter, a letter I or J or a U, by the way, or V. And so, but right here it can't end in an I. So when you want to write the I sound with a digraph, you're inside of a word, you're going to use the AI. If you're going to write it at the end of the word, you're going to use an AY. Be sure and explain that to your students because it's going to help them a lot with their spelling. So the first one is ale. So the blend's going to be ale, and then bale, same thing. Bale. And then we skip down BAY. We have bay. And why is it with a Y? Because it is at the end of the word. Okay, pressing on. Vowel graph EE on the phonovisual chart. This is a tree. Wait a minute, I forgot to tell you. The the AI is a cake. You know, I should have. Well, I guess I'm doing this. I can go back. I forgot to tell you, the long A is use a phonovisual word cake. The long E, as in here, is tree. The long I is 5, the word 5. The O over here, and I should point to this stuff, bone, is going to be O of rose. And then when you get down to the U down here, it's going to be the U of mule. So it's, again, it's cake, tree, 5, rose, and I for the phonovisual correspondences, or the keys there, keywords and pictures. Okay, pressing on. Let me get back to where I was at. Double E. Okay, we just did a double E. That's going to be tree. So they're going to learn b, e, b, and then b, e, f, beef. And here they learn that 2 letters can make 1 sound. It's digraph, easy to explain. 24, we have EA. By the way, it has 3 sounds. The first one is the E of beat, and so they learn the b, e, t, beat. Then the short E, as in bread, B-R-E-A-D, bread, and that is the phonovisual keyword is bed, and then we have the A of in the word steak, and I use the word cake there. In fact, on my phonovisual chart, I've actually written an EA up in that little square. You can do that if you want to. On the next page, bottom of the page, we have IE, has 2 phonemes, the long I and the long E. So we have cried, and then over here we have brief, the E sound. So go through and teach those. Then 26, we have the final vowel Y, and some dictionaries, in a long word, it usually has the E sound. Some dictionaries say it's a short E. I'll give you an example. Is it army or is it army? It's pretty hard to tell the difference, isn't it? Technically, it's probably a short I, okay? For linguistic reasons, that's probably true. But anyway, either one, the phonovisual chart, they chose the word fish, fish. But if you want, you can use the word tree. So you have R-M-E, army, and you tell them the Y there on the end of the word has the E sound. And then in the short word, except myself, but in the short word, it's going to have the I sound of the 5, I. So you got buy, cry, dry, fly, and so on. Now we have Unit 27, we have the O, A, and OE. This is like the long O, O. So you have B, O, T, boat. Again, notice it's a digraph because it's 2 vowels with 1 sound, or it can be OE, as in foe, goes, ho, Joe, and so on. Teach them those, and it's fun to teach them the vocabulary. They can learn all these words, like what's your foe, or how. A lot of the kids don't know what a hoe is these days. I grew up on a farm, so I knew that when I was real young. Okay, Unit 28. Let's pick up a little speed here. We have the digraph O, and then the diphthong ow. If you look in the mirror, you can almost see O, ow. The OW is considered 2 sounds, and the O is long O. So you have bow, so you write B-O, bow, and you go through teaching them all of those with the Blend Phonics. Now, curiously, as you well know, we have a homonym here. We have the word, not a homonym, a homograph. We have bow. So we have bow and we have bow. And the kids, they think it's, wow, it's really cool. You got 2 different words that are spelled the same, but mean something different and don't sound the same, and so they won't have any trouble with that at all. So go through and have them read them, and if you're having them write the words in their journals, have them write them. And it's always good to have them practice when they get home with their parents. 29 is a little tricky. We have the diphthong ow, but it can have a lot of other sounds, like the short U and the short double O. So and this is the word, wait a minute, the digraph ow, O-W, I forgot to tell you, is on the phonovisual chart is cow. And then the diphthong O-U again, it's going to be the word cow. And on the phonovisual chart, you have OW in big print and OU in small print. So the big print's the primary and the small print's a secondary spelling. So you have cloud, and again, notice that you can't use U at the end of a word generally. So you have a D, or you have a letter at the end. U is an exception there, actually OU, but so anyway, so you have cloud, mound, and so on. And then you have the words on the right there, you, country, young, soul, for. They're different sounds. So just write the word and tell them what it is on that one. 30, we have OY, and the phonovisual chart symbol is OY. Okay, so this is oi as in boy. By the way, notice the I cannot be used, remember, at the end of a sentence like in AI. So the OI is the same way. So the OI is used inside of a word, and the OY usually at the end of the word. Not always, but usually at the end of a word. So you have the word like oi, so they're going to sound it out. And then you have boil, it's inside of a word, so now you can use the I. Kids enjoy learning all that. 31. I don't know why I always thought the double O would be hard, but my experience teaching kids that most of them find this pretty easy to negotiate. The long sound of double O is oo, as in moon. And again, if you've never taught phonics before, you're going to find this. I feel sure you're going to find this training video really, really, really helpful. And every beginning first grade teacher needs to go through a similar training. So we have the long sound of O is oo, and so they're going to learn ba, oo, boo, and then they're going to add the T at the end, boot, and so on. And again, that is the word moon on the phone. The picture is of a moon. The short sound is as the word book. Book, that's the key word. So we have book, and they'll sound it out. 33, we're moving right along. Vowel digraph, AW and AU. And again, notice the W, it can be used at the end of the word, not always, but the U is not used at the end of the word. So this is aw. This is a digraph, not a diphthong. Digraph considered one sound, not two. And the phonovisual chart uses a picture of a saw. Okay, a saw. So you have, they're going to sound out the word curl, add the L at the end, quarrel. You should go through with the using the Blend Phonics technique, teaching all those words. Always remember to use them in a sentence. And the kids just love to come up with sentences. The baby likes to crawl. You get down to dawn, they may not know what dawn is. So then you may have to make up a sentence for them, okay? Hawk, and then the AU as in cause. You can work on teach them all those. That's unit 33. Next is 34. This is going to be the same word, or the same picture key, all of saw. So we have all, ready, almost, and so on. And again, just teach all those words. The EW is another digraph. By the way, they call those phonograms because you're going to teach the AL and the ALL as a unit, okay? So that's why they're called phonograms. Phono means sound and gram means to write, so it's okay. Digraphs. We have the EW and the UE. These are vowel digraphs. Again, one sound. And for this one, we use the word mule. Mule, long U. And there's really two long U sounds, oo and U. Kids don't generally have a problem with that. So we just use the word mule. So the EW and the UE, so we have the word blue, blue, and you teach the EW as a unit to spell at the end, and then you have another blue, B-L-U-E, and you can explain how you have two words that are spelled differently that sound the same and mean something different, but they sound the same. Homonyms. 36. Unaccented A at the beginning of a word, and also the word A, when not used for emphasis, is So we have about, adrift. Kids pick this up pretty easy. Aside, astir. You kind of have to explain some of those words to them. 37, we have the phonograms UL, ULL, and USH. And this takes us back to the short U, again, which is moon. And the phonovisual chart puts a U at as the sub-spelling. Double O as the primary spelling, and the secondary spelling is a U. So it's on the chart. By the way, if you've been teaching the phonovisual charts every day from the very first day, when you get to this stuff, I mean, they already kind of like know it. They just pick it up and start sailing through this stuff. And if you let them have their phonovisual chart in their classroom, a lot of times they're reading a story and they see a word they don't know. They'll look at the chart and sound it out before you even teach it on the phonovisual method. I mean, they just pick it up fast and start running with it. By the way, I've taught it to kindergartners. They memorized it so good that they could drill each other on those charts. Again, you can teach a program without the charts. Miss Lori never used, as far as I know, never used the phonovisual charts. But I like them, and I find them helpful. Enhance the program here. Okay, 38. We're just about getting to the last of our video here. It looks like we're going to be almost 50 minutes. I need to talk a little faster. I may redo this later. I'm doing this just kind of off the cuff because I want to get it on the internet and get people started with the program. And later we may redo this. I'm looking forward to going to schools, and I like to go to schools all over the place and do workshops and presentations showing people how they can be successful teaching Blend Phonics to beginning and remedial students. Okay, 38. This is the soft sound of the C, and teach them before E, I, and Y. The C usually sounds like the F. Sometimes sh, as in the word spatial. So just teach them the sense, sell, cease, and so on. They won't find these hard, and they'll enjoy them. And this is going to be a really important step. The phonovisual method uses the word saw, and the C is a secondary spelling. Next we have Unit 39, the soft sound of the G and DGE. Sometimes, it's a soft sound as in DGE, and sometimes before E, I, or Y. Not always, but sometimes. So, for example, the first one's going to be age. And again, you can show them that the E makes the A long, so you have age. And then barge, but there you have R control vowel. Anyway, go through and teach all of those. Let's press on to the next one. 40, this is a silent GH, like IGH. So you have bright, blight, flight, and so on. And then the F sounds like, the GH sounds like F, as in rough and tough and actually laugh, but if they mispronounce it, they'll laugh and figure it out, won't they? Then we have the silent letters. It's a great lesson right here. And just simply write a K on the board and say, in this word, the K is going to be silent. Write K-N-E-E and ask them to sound it out, and they're going to say knee. If they try to say knee, it's not going to work. And so this has got all those lessons. Loring had a K, W, T, B, and L, and I added the H because I want them to be sure and know, especially the word hour and honest and honor. Those are three good words I thought we should have in our program. 42, we have the S that has like the Z sound. This is really no problem. By now, they're already figuring all these words out. You have choose, chose, cheese, and so on. Unit 43, we have the PH. It sounds like the F. That's a Greek phonogram, by the way. But so you have elephant, and interestingly, many of the kids come to me for tutoring, all different ages, can't read the word alphabet. That is amazing to me. And the phonovisual chart uses the word fan for this, and that's considered a secondary spelling. They write PH under the F. Next we have Unit 44, we have LE and TION and SION. So we have battle, and I just tell them the E silent. Some people say that's a schwa sound. Bundle, bottle, buckle, and so on. And And then TION says shun. Now, the TION and SION are not on the phonovisual chart. They just have the SH for ship. So what I've actually done is on my phonovisual cards and chart, well, on the chart I just took a little stickum. I have a wall chart, the big ones and the little ones, but I took a little stickum and I write TI and SI on it, and I tell them that says shh. There's a secondary spelling for shh, and so attention, action, and so on. And these are rather advanced words, really good for the kids to know. Unit 45, we have ED. And again, I just go through and tell them we're going to do the one that says short E, the one that sounds like D, the one that sounds like T. If you study this out, you'll find out that if the letter before the ED is a D or a T, it's going to say ed. If the letter before the ED is voiced, as in or like the second group there, it's going to have the D sound. The voicing carries over to the ending. But if it's unvoiced, like the K, as in baked, it's going to have the T sound, baked, because the letter in front of it is not voiced. You can see that with boxed and camped and so on. So that's the rule. I don't think first graders are ready for that rule probably, but you are, and it'll help you to understand how it goes. And the main thing, once the kids have read the words and looked at them, they'll be able to identify them easily. It's very important. The last two, let me say, were not in the original Blend Phonics. There were no long vowels and open syllables, which is an important. An open syllable is a syllable that ends in a vowel. So for example, baker has got two syllables, bay-ker. And the reason the A there is long is because that it's in an open syllable. It ends in a vowel. Same thing, shady, lady, paper, taper, and so on. And it's divided into groups there. The last groups are actually the first group. You have, it ends in a consonant, or it has, the next syllable starts with a consonant, like bay, and then you have ker starts with a K. But if you go over to, for example, dial, here you have two vowels together, and those two vowels split. Same thing with like poem. It's not poem, but it's poem. So OE there is not a digraph. It's actually two separate vowels, a long vowel, short vowel. Okay, and gruel, cruel, dual, so on. And the last, here we have the, now when I compared this program with the Dolch list, and I do not believe in teaching any sight words, and maybe I'm the only person in America that believes that, but I believe they cause kids who study sight words, you're setting them up for at least a lot of kids to have dyslexia. That's my opinion, and I have essays on my website where I explain it, and that's why I teach Blend Phonics, because I believe that it will prevent it. But nevertheless, it was interesting to find out there were only 37 out of the 220 Dolch list words that were not in Blend Phonics. I thought, wow, that's really cool. So I just put them here at the end, and notice I've actually got them in groups. So like the first column is ooh, do, to, today, together, to, who, and into. And then the second one, we have the O that has the sound, is in come, done, does, someone. So as you look across there, you're going to find out they're kind of in groups. And then Miss Loring didn't have the j sound, and it's not on the phonovisual chart either. Should, if you want it, it would be beside the sh and under the z. Anyway, the j sound, which is a voiced sh, basically, j, as in measure, treasure, pleasure, and so I added those. Okay, I'm going to take about 2 more minutes here. Thank you for being with me. It's been a pleasure doing this training video. I'm just going to click through the rest of the book really, really fast. Miss Loring did this consonant and vowel summary, which I'm sure you'll find very helpful, and I included it. Here's some information that was in her book, and here's a letter that was, this book was given to 5,000 teachers in 1981 in Michigan, first grade teachers in Michigan. And this is a letter that she added to it. And then next is my Blend Phonics fluency drills. These things are awesome, folks, let me tell you. And notice Mr. Potter's secret of reading. Be sure and teach this to your students. I have a sign in my class, by the way, that says no guessing zone. And but this is my secret of reading. Look at all the letters the right way and no guessing. If you teach that secret of reading, I guarantee you your students are going to do good. And these drills are designed to build word fluency and to help students overcome the guessing habit. So what we've looked at is a teacher book. Well, this is what I actually give my students. So for $8 you're getting her book plus my book. That's a steal in anybody's book. But these are the words plus some others, and they are put in. I put words that look alike. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but words have a look to them, a shape. Like the word bat, if you drew a box around it, you have two tall letters and then a short letter in the middle. But if you look the word wrap, you have two short letters and then one that goes down at the end. It's actually the same word shape as the word sap and map. Well, I put the ones that look together, and kids that have dyslexia, when they see this, I'm telling you, it stops them dead in their tracks, and they have to switch to phonics to read these words if they're going to read them correctly. And one boy, if I can just throw in an example real quick, his name was Dylan. Came to me in sixth grade reading on a third grade level, and he'd been going to tutoring for 3 years at his other school. And within about 5 hours of 15-minute tutoring, he went through these drills and went up to 6th grade level. I later taught him my Webster spelling book. He went on and he was reading high school before he ended 6th grade, and went from being a remedial student to becoming an advanced placement student when he left our school. So anyway, I'm just going to click through this just really fast. These are all these drills. I think they're worth their weight in gold. Then we have a progress chart that shows the steps and shows what's taught, and it's kind of like a scope and sequence. Then I want to make sure students know the alphabet. So this is a tapping exercise, and little kids that don't know the alphabet can actually tap this. And I have them go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And then once they can go across, then you have them go down and up and back. And when they get done with this, I guarantee you within a few weeks you can teach any pre-K or kindergartner the alphabet. What's next? Okay, not going through this. Maybe I should. If you say the word like bat, it will give you the sound. So this is a key. These 2 pages is this is my phono-visual charts correlation. If you decide to use a phono-visual charts, they're not necessary. You can teach the program without it, but I really think they're helpful. And if you want, you can order them from www.phonovisual.org. I think it's like $8 or $9 or something for a whole bunch of these are white charts here, but you can get the color charts from them and the cards. Anyway, what I do is, like, it says unit 1, and notice I tell you which of the keys on the phono-visual chart to use at that point in the lesson. So you're going to find it just really, really helpful. I mean, I'm explaining everything to you where you can teach this. And if you got these 2 charts, or big charts, if you got these in the front of your classroom, oh my goodness, let me tell you, your kids are going to learn to read. Especially when you combine it in conjunction with the Blend Phonics program. Here's a note that I wrote when I did the program. Here's a postscript by Rudolph Flesch. You can read that, and that's pretty outstanding. I'm going to skip that right now, and there's some things about myself. So we're going to sign off right here at exactly 53 minutes, and I hope that this is going to prove very, very helpful to everybody that buys my book, wants to be very successful teaching beginning and remedial reading with the easiest program in the world for teaching phonics. Reading Made Easy with Blend Phonics for 1st grade by Hazel Loring.